Hello everyone and welcome to my YouTube channel. Oh my god, I actually can't believe I'm finally getting around to doing this. Honestly, I've been putting this off for literally as long as I can remember. First of all, because I haven't yet got a clue how I'm going to edit this video. Secondly, I'm literally on camera number 3. I've bought 3 cameras, hated the first 2, finally found one that I like. And I've just been procrastinating, enjoying my pregnancy. So yeah, I've literally not had a second to make this video. I just thought I'd come on here to do my pregnancy Q&A, mainly because I've tried to do, Beans is already sneaking in to the video. I've tried to do quite a few Q&As on Instagram before about topics, and when you've got a lot to talk about, it's really difficult because it cuts you off after 15 seconds. So I thought it was better that I came on here and then I can talk things through in more detail. We can just have like a big chat, and I can talk you guys through all my pregnancy so far, all the amazing questions you've given me. So where do we begin? Guys, I'm literally 5 minutes into my video and my camera's already fallen over once. I apologise, this is probably going to be the most cut up, messy video ever. But I am trying. I've got my camera balanced on a coffee table, on top of a box, on top of a tripod. So hopefully anyway now it's a bit more stable and we can actually get some questions answered. Guys, these are all your questions. You can see that we have got a lot to get through. But question number 1 was, were you trying for a baby? This is probably, I'd say, one of the most asked questions that I've been given, mainly because I don't think anyone really saw it coming. But the answer is no, we weren't actually trying for a baby. However, myself and Riyadh, we'd had a conversation about maybe like a year before I got pregnant, about the contraception that I was on. I was having quite a few problems at the time. So we decided I was going to come off the contraception, and obviously with not being on contraception comes a lot of risk of getting pregnant. And we always knew it was going to be like a potential possibility. So yeah, no, we were not actively trying. However, it was something that we had planned for if it did happen. Our original plan was actually to get married first. So if you follow me on Instagram, you will know that we got engaged last summer in Mykonos. It was so nice. We did like a little boat trip with my family and all my friends and all Riyadh's friends. I had absolutely no idea. I didn't even wash my hair. I was actually devastated when I look back at the pictures afterwards. I didn't wash my hair and I hadn't had my nails done. The 2 main things that you want to make sure you had done before you get engaged. But the moment was still perfect. It was absolutely amazing. We went on a boat trip, and then as the sun was setting, we all went to the front of the boat, and they actually told me that we'd got this discount off the boat for doing some like promo pictures, which obviously, as you know, a lot of influencers do. That's fairly normal. I thought nothing of it, and then one of our favourite songs came on that we literally sung the whole way throughout lockdown. And when the song came on, I was actually looking at my phone at the time. I can't remember what I was doing. I think I was probably taking a story or doing something. Everyone was like, oh my god, look. So I looked out into like the sea, and there was a boat going past, and it had a big sign on it that said, will you marry me? I remember seeing the sign, and my first reaction was, oh my god, that's so cute, like where's that going? So I was looking around for a boat, and then I could hear everyone cheering, and I was like, oh my god, maybe they're cheering because it's for me. But at this point I was too scared to turn around, because I was like, imagine if I turn around and I'm like, oh my god, and it's not for me. And Riyadh tapped me on the back, and I turned around and he had a ring in his hand, and I literally honestly, I can't even remember the rest. I think I just started crying like uncontrollably, and all I remember was him turning around and saying to me, are you gonna marry me or what? At which point obviously I said yes. But anyway, this is not an engagement Q&A, but yeah, so we got engaged last summer and we are planning to get married hopefully next summer. So the original plan was to have the baby after we'd got married, but that's fine, things change, and we've still got loads of time to plan the wedding. We'll just have a baby now, which will be really nice. And I've always said actually I'd love to have a baby at my wedding. It's so nice for like your pictures when you look back to like kind of have your family there, so that'll be really cute. How many weeks pregnant were you when you found out? I think I was about 6 weeks pregnant. I actually realised because one of my best friends said to me that she thought she could be pregnant, and she was like, it's really weird, like I'm late on my period. So I was like, oh, when was your last period? And she said, oh, it was like when we were on holiday together. And then when I thought back to when we were on holiday, I was like, hang on, my period was before that. And then I started working out the dates and I was like, shit. I rang Riyadh straight away and he was like, you might be pregnant. And I was like, no, I don't think I am. In my head, I was kind of like, it's probably just nothing. I'm probably just a bit late. So we took the pregnancy test here together in that bathroom right there. Literally seconds after I peed on the stick, it came back with like a massive 2 lines. I was so in shock at the time, I can't even remember what happened. I think I just sat there and I was like, and Riyadh was like, are you pregnant? Are you pregnant? And I literally just like showed him the stick and he was like, oh my God. And then, yeah, I don't even know what happened after that. I think we just had like a huge conversation and we were like obviously so shocked at the time. Riyadh just made me feel way more like at ease with the whole thing. He's already got 2 children already. So for him, not that it's not as big of a deal because obviously it's always a big deal having a baby, but it wasn't his first time being a parent. So he kind of had more experience. And he just calmed me down. He was like, listen, it's going to be amazing. You'll be an amazing mum and you'll absolutely love it. Things will be different. And obviously you're taking on like a huge responsibility, but being a parent's the best thing in the world. So after that, I felt so much better. I think I rang my friend straight away, the one who told me that she thought she was pregnant. I was like, oh my God, like, are you pregnant or not? And then she was like, no, I just did the pregnancy test and I'm not pregnant and I've literally just come on my period. Then she was like, why are you? When I was like, oh yeah, I'm pregnant. Yeah, that was the first person I told, obviously, apart from Riyadh. None of my family knew at this point, literally no one else knew. Have you had an easy pregnancy and did you get morning sickness? So I'd say, to be fair, I've been super blessed with my pregnancy. Everything's gone really to plan, fingers crossed, obviously. But I did get morning sickness at the beginning, but very, very mildly. I think I was only sick maybe 2 or 3 times. And ask anyone in my family, I am absolutely terrified of being sick. It's been one of like my biggest fears since I've been about 3 years old. So I was so nervous at the beginning about the morning sickness part, but luckily I actually found it really easy. I think I was only sick 2 or 3 times and that was when I was poorly already. The only thing I will say is even though I wasn't sick at the beginning, I had really bad nausea and I went off like so many foods. My favourite food in the world is Pan-Asian food and I literally could not bear the sight of it. I literally just wanted to eat plain foods like croissants, porridge, beans on toast, white carbs, nothing overcomplicated. So that's the only thing that I found difficult. That kind of levels out again after like 14 to 16 weeks. So personally, I didn't find it that bad at all. How did you tell your family? Well, I was 6 weeks and I found out, and then me and Riyadh booked a scan before we told anyone else. Obviously I wanted to make sure that everything was fine and that like the baby was completely healthy before I went and told people. So we booked a scan for that week. We went for the scan and the lady actually told me at the scan that I was nearer 7.5 weeks. Obviously it changes depending on when you ovulate. Everyone's different. Beans, why are you hogging the camera? Sit down. Yeah, so I was about 7.5 weeks at this point, and obviously I wanted to tell my family like as soon as possible. So I tried to find a time when everyone was free, and I did a big dinner party at the house. My nana was on holiday at the time, so it was my granddad, my dad, my mum, my 2 little sisters, and Darby and Mike, and then a few of Riyadh's friends. I bought some scratch cards online, and they basically said at the bottom, what do you get a mum that's got everything? And then it had a big heart underneath where you could scratch it off, and then underneath it said a grandchild. So I waited till the end of the meal, and then me and Riyadh just went round with the cards, gave everyone one. And we basically just said like, I've got you a little present. Obviously mum and dad were moving to Dubai at the time, so I think they thought it was like a leaving present, so it worked quite well. And yeah, they all scratched away the cards, and honestly the reaction was like way better than I ever expected. They literally just all burst out crying after like 5 seconds. Darby was the first to realise, and she literally screamed across the table and was like, oh my God. And then mum was the last to realise. At this point, everyone else around the table was crying, and I think she kind of clocked on to what was happening, but she couldn't scratch away the thing on her card. Then she was literally just staring at me, like, while sobbing at the same time, like, oh my God, are you pregnant? But no, it was really, really cute. They were so shocked, like, they absolutely could not believe it. My sister especially has asked me so many times, like, when are you having a baby? When are you having a baby? She's got a little girl now who is 6 months old, and she always said to me that she'd absolutely love if I had a baby as well, so they'd be really close in age. But I'd always said to her like, oh, not yet, like we're gonna wait until after the wedding. So because we'd had that conversation so many times, she just had absolutely no idea whatsoever. So it's so nice seeing her reaction, because she was like absolutely taken back, but she was like so happy at the same time. So It was really cute. So when did you tell Riyadh's family? We told Riyadh's family the same night that I told my family. So we did the dinner party and then we literally rang his mum straight after because we wanted them both to find out at the same time. But I have the weirdest stories to tell you about that, which honestly still baffles me now. I've never been like the biggest believer in psychics and stuff like that. I don't not believe it, but I've never really been to see many psychics or kind of taken much interest in it. So the weirdest thing ever happened because the week before we told Riyadh's mum that I was pregnant, she rang Riyadh and said, oh, just a quick question. Is Taylor pregnant by any chance? And Riyadh was like, no. Like, why'd you say that? And she said, oh, it was the weirdest thing. I had a dream last night that she was. So Riyadh was like, oh my God, how weird. Like, no, she's not pregnant. And then Riyadh's sister was messaging me and literally 4 days before I told her I was pregnant, we were chatting and she said the same thing to me. She was like, oh my God, it was so weird. I had a dream about you last night. It was so funny. And I replied to her voice note like, oh, what was the dream? What happened? Anyway, she'd sent me a voice note back that I'd completely forgot to open. And then 4 days later, we told them all I was pregnant. First thing she said to me was, have you heard the voice note I sent you? And I said, no, why? And she said, just please go listen to that voice note and ring me back after. So I hung the phone up and I listened to her voice note. And in the voice note, she actually said to me, oh, it's so weird. I had a dream last night that you were pregnant. You took a pregnancy test and it came back positive. And we were both sat there like in shock. Anyway, it was the weirdest things. Obviously at this point I was, and none of them knew. So I am now convinced that Riyadh's family are psychic. I don't know what you guys think about that. A lot of people say that apparently when you're pregnant, you give off the vibe, even though Riyadh's family actually hadn't seen me in like over 3 weeks. Maybe you can just tell, I don't know. Some people believe that when you're pregnant, you can tell by the way the person looks. They look different. But yeah, anyway, back to what the actual question was. We told Riyadh's family on the same night that I told my family, and they were all super happy as well. When did you start telling everyone else? Obviously, our main priority was telling my family and Riyadh's family. But at this point, we still hadn't seen Riyadh's kids. So we were really conscious that obviously we wanted to keep it a secret until they knew, because it was really important to Riyadh that they found out before anyone else. That was really cute as well. I really wish I'd videoed it, but I didn't. I showed them a picture of the scan and I was like, do you guys know what this is? Riyadh's oldest daughter turned around and she was like, is it a puppy? And I was like, no, it's not a puppy. It's a baby, like there's a baby in my stomach. And then I think it clicked like 5 minutes later and she was like, are you pregnant? And then after that, we basically then just started telling like close family and friends. It wasn't really public knowledge at the time. Personally, I would have liked to wait a little bit longer before I'd kind of made it public knowledge. But unfortunately, in the world we live in, that was not possible because somebody that I'd obviously told had very kindly tried to tell one of the English newspapers that I was pregnant. So whilst I was on holiday in the January, I did get a call off my agent who said that one of the newspapers had been in contact and were trying to sell a story asking questions around my pregnancy, which obviously I was devastated about because being like such big news, I wanted to make sure that everyone heard of me first, or Riyadh. So we did end up actually announcing I was pregnant at the end of January because we had no choice basically. But I was actually quite enjoying my little pregnancy bubble, and I think if I was having another one and this wasn't the circumstances, I'd probably wait a little bit longer just because it's nice to kind of have that time and enjoy it. Because as soon as people find out, that is literally like the first question everyone asks you, they're like, how's the baby, blah, blah. Which, by the way, don't get me wrong, is such a lovely thing, but it's nice to kind of just enjoy it with your family and friends to start with. Anyway, it all worked out really nicely. Everyone was really happy and that was really cute as well. What have you been eating during pregnancy? Have you been watching your weight? This one is a very straight up answer. No, I have not been watching what I've been eating at all. I don't know if this is just because I love shit food anyway, or it's because I'm pregnant, but I have literally been eating so much chocolate. Yeah, I've probably gained a few pounds. Not that I've been weighing myself, because what is the point when you're pregnant? You obviously can't exactly keep on top of your weight, but it's not something I'm worried about. The main priority right now is keeping the baby healthy and just making sure I'm eating 3 meals a day. Which, to be fair, 90% of the time have been quite healthy. But if I do fancy a bit of chocolate at night, I'm having it, and no one is telling me otherwise. In terms of exercise, I'm trying to keep my steps up. I've got an Apple Watch now, so I try and do 10,000 steps a day. It's nice to set yourself goals. but nothing major. I would, however, really like to start pregnancy yoga, but I did an event the other week with Myprotein, and at the event we did a yoga class, and it really made me realise how important it is to stretch when you're pregnant, because you get pains in all sorts of places that you've not had before. Like my lower back has been absolutely killing me. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna try and keep up the pregnancy yoga, and it actually just made me feel so relaxed. Like, it was super enjoyable. This is coming from someone, by the way, who is an absolute beginner at yoga. So yeah, if I can enjoy it, then anyone can. Someone actually asked me, what am I gonna do with Beans after I've had the baby? And absolutely, I am not gonna get rid of him, am I, Beans? Couldn't get rid of you. Oh my God, he's actually grabbed hold of the teddy bear that someone's bought me for the baby. So I take that back, I might be getting rid of him. No, I'm joking, I'm not. Beans, come here. Couldn't get rid of you, could I? See the way he just leaped onto that sofa. Say hi to everyone. Mwah. No, to be fair, he's actually such a good dog. I absolutely recommend this breed for someone who wants a dog but they don't want like a full-time commitment. A lot of dogs are super demanding. You literally have to walk them like twice a day. Mwah. Love you. So he's a keeper. He's not going anywhere, are you, Beans? No. Have you started buying stuff for the baby yet? The answer to this is nope. I have bought nothing. I think mainly because I've just been so laid back, really. I've just been enjoying the pregnancy. We're doing some renovations in the house, so my plan was always to kind of get the nursery ready and move things around a little bit, so there's space for the baby, and then we'd start buying things, and I've been super delayed with that, basically. So still trying to set the nursery up, so I don't want to buy anything until that's finished. Otherwise, I know it's going to start clogging up loads of space in the house, which is exactly what I don't want. Are you going to have a natural birth or a C-section? This is something that I have actually thought a lot about because I was super unsure at the beginning. And I've kind of heard different stories off so many different people. Like, some people had natural births and said it was the most amazing thing ever. Other people I spoke to have had natural births and it's been super traumatic. And then same with C-sections. Some people have absolutely loved them, had planned C-sections, and others I've spoke to have said it's the worst thing ever and you're in loads of pain afterwards. I think it's so hard to kind of decide what it is you want to do, especially with your first child, because there's so many pros and cons to either. But I'm going to try for a natural birth. I am going to do some hypnobirthing classes, and I just think, obviously I'm still young at the moment, and I just thought, whilst I might as well try and have a natural birth, because you never know, with my next child it might not be that simple and straightforward. And I decided that I'm going to be open to all pain relief, whether that's an epidural or whatever else it is. I'd like to get the baby out as quick and as pain-free as possible. This is just my opinion personally. If you are pregnant, it's definitely best to speak to your midwife. My midwife is amazing. She's advised me loads, and every single person is different. So this is what I've decided to do. But that is not necessarily what is best for everyone. This is just my opinion. Would you have a home birth? Personally, absolutely not. For one, literally all the furniture in my house is cream. And two, I am a little bit of control freak about things like this, and I just want to know that when I do give birth, I'm absolutely in the best hands possible, and if something does go wrong, I'd like to be in a hospital. So I know that I'm in a safe environment, I can get all the right medication and pain relief if I need it. Not that it will. I'm trying to be really positive about my birth, which takes me on to the next question, which is, are you nervous about giving birth? To be fair, I'd say I'm a little bit nervous, as everyone is. A lot of friends have already said to me, who've had babies, it's great to have a birthing plan, but you also have to be prepared that it doesn't always go to plan. So I think, if anything, that is the thing I'm most nervous about. But yeah, obviously at the end of the day, my main priority is giving birth to a healthy and a happy baby. And as long as we're both healthy and everything goes fine, then I'm okay with that. So yeah, fingers crossed the birth is easy, but you know, you can't guarantee these things. Have you had mood swings? I don't know. I feel like I can't answer this question. I feel like that's a question that we're gonna have to ask Riyadh. He'll probably say yeah, but I don't think I've been that moody. I actually think I've been pretty good throughout this pregnancy. If he says anything other than no, I am gonna be fuming, but who knows? I think I've been pretty good, to be fair. The only thing I will say is I did notice I was a lot more sensitive in the first 12 weeks. Even if Riyadh looked at me funny, I'd be like, why are you looking at me like that? Whereas like, I am not that person at all. Like, things like that do not bother me. So the most asked question that I literally get asked 100 times a day on my Instagram is, do you know the gender of the baby? And the answer is yes, I do. We found out super early. I've always loved the idea of having a surprise and not finding out what we were having, which is what my best friend did. And I thought it was so special that they literally didn't find out until they had the baby. I am so impatient. There's absolutely no way I could have waited 9 months to find out. Originally, my plan was to find out around 6 months. So then I had something else to look forward to, like further down my pregnancy. However, I lasted a whole 10 weeks and had the blood test to find out what the baby was, because I literally just could not contain myself. So there is a blood test you can have around 10 to 12 weeks, which is basically a screening to check that there's nothing wrong with the baby. It checks like a variety of things from different syndromes to conditions with the baby. It kind of just makes sure that everything is okay. And you can tick on there to say whether you want to find out the gender or not. So we ticked yes. I think I was around 12 weeks when I got the results back. I was actually in Dubai at the time, and Riyadh was due to fly the next day to African Cup when the email came through. And I was like, oh my God, we either do the gender reveal now or we wait a month until he's back from African Cup and then we find out together then. In my head, I was like, I cannot wait a month. So I literally got straight in my car when the email came through, shot down to the balloon shop and bought one of those big black balloons that you pop to tell you the gender. So we took it out for dinner that night, and it was me, Riyadh, my 2 little sisters, and my mum and my dad, and we just did the balloon pop. So I have got that video and I need to put it on my Instagram so you guys can see. But yeah, you will find out soon. Also, feel free to leave your predictions below of what you think it might be. Hey everyone, my camera died, but I am back. I'm gonna try and wrap this up now because I feel like I've literally been talking forever and you guys are probably really bored now, and I don't blame you. So I've just got a few last questions to answer, and then the pregnancy Q&A will be done. One of the questions I really wanted to answer was, did you do the nikah before or after you found out you were pregnant? I know that I've got a huge Muslim following on here. Hello to you all. Thank you for following me. It means a lot. I've been asked this question so many times. So for those of you who aren't Muslim and might not know, the nikah is the religious Muslim marriage that you do, which basically means that you are then married in front of God, and it means that you can then obviously live together and do normal things that a married couple would do. There was an article written in the Sun newspaper not that long ago saying that me and Riyadh had done the nikah ceremony together. This was completely incorrect. I actually did a Q&A on my Instagram the day before, and someone had asked me about the nikah, so I answered the question, and then people thought that because I'd answered the question then that was then when we did the nikah ceremony. And that was just basically a huge confusion that the papers got wrong, saying that we'd only done it recently. But yeah, so what I'd actually answered on my Instagram was we had already done the nikah a year ago, because a lot of people had asked me, are you and Riyadh married? So what I'd explained was that we actually did the nikah a year ago, and that we're still currently going to get married under obviously English law, and do like the big white wedding, which is going to be next summer. So yeah, for anyone that was asking, we have done the nikah, but we still aren't lawfully married yet, so we'll be doing that next summer. Are you going to show your baby on Instagram? This is another thing that I've literally like thought so much about, because people have such split opinions on this, especially like when you're in the public eye. And for those of my friends and people I know that don't show their babies on Instagram, I can like 100% understand why. Everyone's got their own reasons for doing so. But also those who do, I personally don't think it's a big problem. We share like literally all our lives on social media anyway, so I think it would be pretty unnatural to then not have my baby on my Instagram. So me personally, I probably will show the baby on Instagram, but I'm probably not going to share it as much as I do like other things in my life. But if there is like little moments here and there, then I will show you guys pictures and little videos and stuff like that. But I won't be doing like daily updates or setting up an Instagram for my baby. And last question is there anything you would change about how you've done your pregnancy so far? No, I don't think so, to be fair. So far, so good. Everything's gone really well. I've actually really enjoyed being pregnant, which, being the person I am, I thought I'd absolutely hate pregnancy because I thought I'd have to slow down and it'd stop me doing loads of things. But it actually hasn't. I feel like my life has probably been busier now than it ever has. Me and Darby also have another really big surprise that we haven't announced on our Instagrams yet, but we've got a project that we've been working on coming soon, and we're so excited to share it with you all. So that has been keeping me super busy busy. That is all the questions, guys. I hope you have enjoyed the pregnancy Q&A. There's so many other little bits of my pregnancy that I want to share with you all. So yeah, if you have got to the end of this video and you haven't logged off already, thank you so much for watching, and hopefully I will be updating you guys again very soon.